Hi, my name is Geraldine Connolly. I'm a student counsellor in NUIG, and I'd like to tell you about the anxiety management course run by the Student Counselling Service. This course is run each semester. It accepts 12 students who commit to an hour and a half weekly for 4 weeks. On that course, they learn to improve and develop whatever skills they already have in managing anxiety, and also new skill sets. Confidentiality is required from each group member to make it a safe place to work and learn, and only 12 people are accepted on the course to give enough time to each group member to participate fully. This presentation aims to give you a flavour of what the course is about. To first of all look at what anxiety is or how people experience it. Anxiety occurs in 3 clusters of symptoms. One symptom is body-based, one cluster of symptoms is body-based, another cluster are emotional symptoms of anxiety, and the third cluster are mental symptoms of anxiety, thinking and worrying. So because anxiety occurs in these 3 clusters, it's important to deal with the management of anxiety in these 3 different ways also. So the management skills dealt with in the group look at dealing with anxiety in the body, dealing with emotional anxiety, and finally dealing with worrying, rumination, thinking, mental anxiety. And although all 3 symptom clusters are involved in anxiety, it is common for people to experience one of those clusters as predominating. So, for instance, some people will experience more body anxiety and panic symptoms. Another person might feel more emotional distress and apprehension. And a third person might experience anxiety mainly in the form of worrying, continual worrying or rumination. So, looking firstly at managing the physical symptoms of anxiety. Physical tension is always present, no matter what sort of anxiety predominates for a person. And it's important to reduce physical tension in the body because it always has a positive impact on emotional and mental anxiety also. Physical anxiety is sometimes called arousal of the sympathetic nervous system. And this is the psychological term used for the flight or fight mechanism, which is a primitive response in the body. And it gives rise to symptoms such as pulse racing, heart thumping, palpitations, difficulty breathing, dizziness, sweaty palms, changes in body temperature, muscular tension, especially in the head and neck and shoulders, which can in turn give rise to headaches. People can experience weakness in the legs, agitation in the stomach area, or clenching of the stomach muscles, which give rise to stomach ache. All of these sound like a huge number of symptoms to experience, and very many people are very familiar with these anxiety symptoms. However, no matter how complex or how intense anxiety symptoms are, very simple physical okay, I just go back to that. However, no matter how complex or how intense the physical symptoms of tensions are, very simple body-based management techniques can very effectively reduce or even dissipate anxiety completely for a person. And this is the first way we look at anxiety in the anxiety management group. So let me talk for a moment about managing the body. However complex the pattern of anxiety experienced by a person is, there are simple physically based techniques which, if practiced consistently, can significantly improve or even completely dissipate the symptoms. So we look in a moment at some of those techniques, but also to say that monitoring the day-to-day management of the body is very important. Such things as eating, drinking, sleeping and activity patterns can have an important role to play in anxiety. And so of course there's something that are looked at in the group, something that we explore. The skills that we learn for body-based anxiety are primarily deep abdominal breathing, and a lot of research shows that deep abdominal breathing can significantly reduce anxiety and bring down the level of physical activation in the body. Relaxation is another skill that people are given a training for in the group, as they also learn mindful awareness, which can be very useful in dealing with anxiety symptoms. For managing emotional anxiety, another skill set is required, and we look and explore with people in the group how they deal with their emotions generally, because very often what people in a group discover is that many of the members don't actually speak very much to other people about their emotions or share their emotions, and that bottling up emotions can heighten anxiety. So the group can be a first learning place to begin to speak about emotional issues and to ask for emotional support. Another feature of anxiety can be that it is connected with a lack of assertiveness. So this is an important area to look at, explore and to learn skills in developing assertiveness, in developing approaches to meeting the needs that we all have, and sometimes these sort of needs are not really very well looked after by people who suffer anxiety. So it's boundary skills and assertive skills are involved in the group training. Another characteristic in anxiety is perfectionism. And you may find that if you suffer from high anxiety, you are also quite perfectionistic, wanting always to do the very best despite the circumstances. So being able to take into account the circumstances involved and being prepared to accept good enough can very often reduce anxiety significantly. So managing mental anxiety is the third cluster of anxiety symptoms that we look at in the anxiety management group. Some of the techniques used are interrupting rumination, because rumination is that spiral of anxiety thinking which never gets a person anywhere. It never produces effective decision making, and so it's very important that people recognize the difference between effective thinking and rumination, which is anxiety thinking. So members of the group learn to interrupt anxiety thinking and to replace it with positive thinking and positive self-thought. Another good skill for mental anxiety is learning to have a container for the anxious thoughts, and also substituting action for anxiety thinking. Finally, apart altogether from the three clusters of anxiety symptoms that we explore in the group and develop new techniques for dealing with, we do look at the resources a person has, because nobody would be in this world unless they had resources. That is, supports internally and externally to deal with anxiety. They may not be effective enough, but they already have some sort of skills. And we look to what are the satisfactions, the joys, the pleasures in a person's life that help to balance out anxiety? Because it is a really true saying that, laughter is the best medicine. If we have humour and joy and satisfaction in our life, it very much diminishes the amount of anxiety that we experience. So this is a pleasurable part of the group where we look at encouraging a person to use the resources they already have and to develop new ones. And there can be great fun and laughter in the group at this stage. So Finally, I would say to you, no matter what level of anxiety you experience, if it is diminishing the pleasure you find in life or your effectiveness in your study, please do seek help and come to the student counselling service. You can either put your name down to become a member of the group, or you can go for one-to-one counselling. I've put on screen the contact details for the student counselling service, and I really hope that if you suffer from anxiety or stress, you do seek the help that you need. Thank you.